Reuters is reporting on some good news for men who come a lot. They say men who ejaculate often may have a lower risk of prostate cancer than their peers who don't do it as frequently. Researchers followed about 32,000 men starting in 1992 when they were in their 20s and continuing through 2010. During this period, almost 4,000 of the men were diagnosed with prostate cancer. Men who ejaculated at least 21 times a month in their 20s were 19% less likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer than men who ejaculated no more than 7 times a month, the study found. Men who ejaculated more often in their 40s were 22% less likely to get a prostate cancer diagnosis. Okay, so I learned a lot from this story. Most importantly, there are dudes who only ejaculate 7 times a month? You're doing it wrong, bro. That's a very low number. I mean, I guess, and this is another thing you could say I learned while reading this, man, libido's vary like a motherfucker. You know, like there are some people who, whatever, I guess they'll get off 5 times a month and they're like, what do you mean? Oh, that's fine. And then there are other people who are like, I need it twice a day. Well, nature varies quite a bit, if I don't say so myself. Now, also there's, a causation correlation issue here. So is it like, hey, if you come more, you're going to avoid prostate cancer? Or is it that you are a certain way based on some other factor, just based on biology, and one of the symptoms that you're more likely to get prostate cancer is that you don't want to come as much? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But either way, just to be on the safe side, I recommend shooting loads all over the place. So, and I think the funniest point that I wanted to make about this, and the one that stood out in my mind, is now there's like, you can have some sort of a scientific response when, you have religious parents or something like that, for example, who would tell you, yeah, hey, this is bad, it'll make you go blind, or it's evil, it's wrong, and you're not supposed to touch yourself, that ain't right. People who try to put a moral angle on it. You can respond by saying, I guess you want me to get cancer. I mean, that's fine. If that's your position, that's your position. You just want me to get cancer, but just come to terms with the fact that you want me to get cancer. Because if you didn't, you would say beat off all the time or have sex all the time. I love that we can do that response now. And also, is there anybody who really didn't think on some level that it is probably good for you to orgasm? Man, woman, everybody. Like, isn't it obvious that there are benefits to it and makes you feel better, peps up your mood, releases endorphins and certain chemicals and hormones in your brain or whatever the fuck? Like, obviously there are upsides. I didn't need a study to tell me it's probably a good thing. I know it's a good thing because it feels really fucking good. So that's a reward system that's wired in my body that's there for a fucking reason. So I didn't need the study to say, hey, there are upsides. Oh, I know there are upsides.